Week 6 of the EFF League. Street Finders took on Empire State in a playoff rematch. Find out if Empire State can get their revenge. And also in a main event match, Terror Squad, X-Men, 2 overtimes. And the game was fit to be tied. Find out this and more on the EFF Zone.
You were watching the EFF Zone.
Hello everyone, welcome to the EFF Zone. I'm your host, Vladimir Lucent. Week 6 put a cap to a crazy first half of the season. Interesting matchups, some controversy. Defenses played outstanding all around. I gotta give it was one of the better defensive weeks that I've seen, where every team were making plays, sacks, putting pressure on the quarterback, interceptions. Great action. Let's get to the recap. Game 1 of Week 6 was between the 5-0 Outlaws and the 1-4 Demolition Crew. Now, I'm not going to say Outlaws were taking Demolition Crew lightly. Obviously, Demolition Crew is tied for one of the worst records in the league. Outlaws is the top team right now, 5-0, going into that Week 6 matchup. But they weren't their usual selves. It was a close battle, shocking to many, because we all thought Outlaws would probably blow out Demolition Crew, put them in a body bag, put in their third stringers. But Demolition Crew, maybe with the addition of Detroit, there was no Johnny Flash, Baby Hulk. They're emerging with Druzy, and they put up a great defensive effort. Only giving up 1 touchdown. But Outlaws show why they were a complete team. Even though their offense wasn't percolating, their defense was stout. The defense that's been dominant since the beginning of the season, made plays, pick 6 by Curtis. That pretty much was the icebreaker. 13-0, Outlaws defeated Demolition Crew. Now, like I said, they didn't play too well. They did get the ball. They did spread the ball around. Ronnie Jean probably had one of his worst games so far this week. The first half MVP so far of this league. Didn't have a quite effective game where his presence was noticed. He did get a couple of sacks. Marquise Powell did make some catches. But Check, I got to give Check credit, man. Probably in the running for most improved player. Another touchdown reception, also caught an extra point. He was big all game long. And of course, like I said, Curtis with the pick 6. They shut out the Demolition Crew. They moved their record to 6-0. Can anybody beat the Outlaws? They are dripping with swagoo sauce. What team can stop them? Demolition Crew, you're 1-5, but your defense did improve tremendously. Maybe the acquisition of Detroit was the move that they needed to make that last seed, the 8th seed playoff push. Because right now, they're in a 3-way tie with Mayhem and Reservoir Dogs to see who's going to get that 8th seed. So basically, they're probably going to be, turtle food for Outlaws. But Outlaws once again 14-0. Game 2 of Week 6 was between the 1-4 Reservoir Dogs and the 2-3 White Shadow. 2 competitive teams trying to bounce back from losses in Week 5, trying to get a better position to move up in the standings so that you don't want to be in the bottom 2 or 3 teams in the playoffs where you're going to go against a top team. Side note, if you want to get drunk and play a funny game, play the game, how many teams will Mandel be at the end of the season? Because after last week's dust up with quarterback Neil Rodriguez, Mandel, formerly of Reservoir Dogs, has left them or was thrown out. 2 different sides, but he's no longer part of the team. In any event, they went on the Saturday on the field against White Shadow, who's probably one of the most efficient teams, to be honest with you, in the league. White Shadow, I don't think they get as much respect as they should. They're very good in almost in all positions. Definitely Evan, Matt, and a new receiver, Mr. Love, Mr. number 10, who caught 3 touchdowns, 4 receptions for 130 yards. 3 of them were touchdowns. My man was putting up fantasy numbers, all right? He was putting up fantasy numbers, and they had no problem, as they really gave Reservoir Dogs a beatdown. They might Vic Reservoir Dogs, winning the game 19-6. Reservoir Dogs now 1-5. What are they going to do now? They listen to their captain, who's out of town. Neil is the leader of the team. They do have some players. Number 4, Mr. Holmes. all, man, let's just say for the past 3 weeks, been putting highlight reel plays, okay? Whether running, catching, or playing on defense, he's been exciting to watch, been a great upgrade for the Reservoir Dogs team, but they weren't enough to match a good, steady, efficient White Shadow team who is now 3-3, looking very, very much like a team you don't want to reckon with in the playoffs. Final score 19-6, White Shadow over Reservoir Dogs. Game 3 of Week 6 probably was one of the marquee matchups of Week 6. I'll put it co-main event with the next game, which was Street Finest and Empire State. But it was the 5-time champions Terror Squad taking on X-Men. A lot of trash talk going on in the social media of the EFF League. You can find us on Facebook at EFF League, Instagram. A lot of trash talk going on between the quarterback, Chico Beneman of X-Men, and many players of Terror Squad. Desmond Faison, DeAndre Green, who happened to not be there. A lot of trash talk going on saying that, oh, they're going to destroy X-Men by 50 points. Chico told me before the game that this would be the game he played his best. He was so looking forward to this game that he was going to put on a performance of a lifetime. Like these guys would have nothing to say. Like the 26-0 beatdown they took last season would be nothing to the loss that they would receive to this new X-Men team. Folks, this game was tight throughout, but the quarterback play, I must say, by both teams were, at best, putrid. It was horrible, okay? It was terrible. It was horrific, horrendous, horrible. Again, I have to use that word. Tuesday played like Chico. Chico played like Chico. It was bad, okay? Tuesday was worse, all right? I'm not trying to go in on the former EFF Championship MVP, two-time EFF Championship MVP, but man, there was 24 points scored in this game. Tuesday contributed for all 24 points. Now, the game ended in a tie. Do the math, folks. Smarten up, Nas. If he accounted for all 24 points, that means he threw 2 pick six to the other team and threw 2 touchdowns for his team. Third play of the game, he throws an interception to primetime. Desmond was doing a great job in the first 2 plays of beating primetime, but don't know what it was. Don't know if there was a miscommunication on the route, but it looked like Tuesday threw to primetime. He took it to the house, touchdown, 6-0. Then Terror Squad did come back and go on a 12-0 run, 12 unanswered points. Tuesday found number 81 for a touchdown, and he also found Torrey in the second half for a touchdown. They were leading 12-6. The defense by both teams was tremendous. Christian, once again for X-Men, was playing, Christian Wise was playing great defense, another 2-interception game, and the acquisition of Chris. Man, Mr. America Chris, that's what I'm calling him, Mr. Wonderful. That dude was on Tuesday like white on rice, pun intended, okay? But he was on him all game long. Bloody, cut up, bandages. The man needed paramedics to stitch him up all game long. On the other side, Terror Squad. Heath. Man, those arms, those long arms was like, the man was just like a pterodactyl. Interception, Chris, blocking punch, which we will get to later. Making plays, sacks, and also Wolf, 56. That defensive Terror Squad is the only reason why they don't have a worse record than they have. That defense has been championship quality all season, minus that week 1 collapse to Skywalkers. But in any event, second half, 12-6, Terror Squad was up, and it looked like late in the game, X-Men was going to punt the ball. And while punting the ball, Keith once again blocked Chris's punt by just putting his arm straight up. A lot of controversy in not knowing what the rules were. Last season, the rules were you can block the punt as long as you don't go over or blitz, or you don't go over the line, or you're trying to blitz. You can block the punt if you put your arm straight up. That seemed to what happened. That seemed like that's what happened. But the rules were changed. No longer can do that because there's no fumbles in this league. There's no blocking of punts. In any event, re-kick the ball. Terror Squad got the ball in their 20, and first play, Tuesday shovel passes it to Chris. Chris intercepts the ball, takes it to the house, 12-12 game. Both teams couldn't make extra points, and we went to overtime. Defenses dominated again in overtime. Ludi made plays. Courtney made tackles. Everybody on X-Men was phenomenal, making sure that Tori or Desmond did not get a backbreaker late, make a play to crush their hopes of a win. 2 overtimes, no offense can score. Game was called. First tie in EFFL League history. Unbelievable. 12-12. A game that was fit to be tied. Both teams didn't play their best. Their defenses did play good. Terror Squad's now 3-2-1. X-Men is 2-3-1. We got to see what happens, how both teams can rebound from that tough tie. Not even a tough loss. I can't even say that. It was a tough tie. But the Terror Squad, it might have been a loss. There was a little arguing going on after the game. The team didn't want to leave the sidelines. They stayed. Poor Empire State had to share their sidelines with Terror Squad. What's going on here? We got to see if the champs can rebound after a so-so first half and do what many people, including myself, expect for them to make that one championship, when that one final run to reclaim their titles that they've had for 5 years. X-Men, got to work on a lot of stuff. Chico was not one of your better games. Definitely got to figure out who's going to be on offense. There was some bad players, substitutions, where it confused Chico. They got to get their act together, but their defense, which lost Detroit, has been playing very well. Very well. Okay? Not seeming like they had the loss of Detroit and Johnny Flash has hurt them. And matter of fact, it might have elevated them because they played 2 phenomenal defensive games. Like I said, Christian Wise has been phenomenal. Paul Pratt doing his thing after a bad last week where everybody was coming after him. He did his thing in week 6, played very well. Game was ending in a tie, 12-12. It was tough, it was long, it was fun, but it was a tie. Game 4 of week 6 was the co-main event after game 3 between Terror Squad and X-Men, as it was a playoff rematch. Empire State versus Street Finest. Last season's playoff, Street Finest, the number 7 seed, pulled off many upsets, but their first victim was Empire State, who was the number 2 seed. That loss affected Empire State, as it was a motivation for them this upcoming season. They wanted to get to the spot they thought they were destined, and which was a championship game, maybe against Terror Squad, but didn't happen as Street Finest scored a last-second touchdown in the first round of the playoffs, upset Empire State. And this season, I really think that Street Finest has the talent and the resolve to really make basically win the championship. They're one of my sleepers. But they've lost to elite teams. Their 2 losses have come to Terror Squad, who they played in the championship game last season, and Skywalkers, who got their revenge because Street Finest beat them last year in the semifinals. And they lost to a undermanned Skywalker's team. Empire State, on the other hand, started out 2-0, but after week 2, they haven't been the same. They haven't played with the same confidence that they had at the end of last season and the first 2 weeks of this season. A lot of struggles in the offense. Defense has been playing very well, but in key moments, they've given up touchdowns, bad coverage, breakdown in coverage. Empire State needed a last-second victory over X-Men, where the ball went right through the hands of Christian and landed in the receiver's hand in the end zone. Touchdown, the game was over. So maybe that game would have propelled them to more momentum that coming into this week game against Street Finest. Street Finest showed everyone that they are for real as they jumped to a 12-0 lead. Give credit to their receiver, another most improved player candidate, Brian. I call him Stewie. He has no problem with me calling him Stewie, so I'm calling him Brian Stewie right now, number 15. The man has scored 6 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks, okay? 2 out of those last 3 weeks, he scored multiple touchdowns. This was no different. He scored the first touchdown on a 15-yard catch. Then Smitty, the quarterback of Empire State, On his second possession of the game, he threw an interception right into John 3:16 Austin, and Austin just said, I intercepted your ass, took it to the house, pick six, 12-0. Empire State did manage to get a drive towards the end of the half. Great return by Chandler after the kickoff, after the touchdown by Street Finest. He did a great kickoff return and got the ball over the 50. Smitty led a drive, found Harlem Knight for a touchdown in the end zone. 12-6, we went into the half. Second half, all Street Finest. Their first series of the second half, listen, when you see the pictures, you see the footage, it was one of those woo moments, all right? I had to give a Ric Flair woo when Chubb Chase, I come to find out that's not his name. The quarterback name is Dane Brooke, but he was wearing the wrong jersey, so we called him Chubb Chase. I like the name, so you're going to remain Chubb Chase. Plain and simple. That's it. No questions asked. Chubb Chase, fine. Bryant for a 55-yard touchdown, but the catch was good, but it was the run after the catch. He made one defender go left and his body go right. Stuck him and floored him, okay? It was like one of those Tim Hardaway crossovers where he juked the crap out of him and took it to the house. One of the most exciting plays, one of the best plays so far in the first half of this season and throughout the whole season. I put it right now in the top 5. That gave them an 18-6 lead, and Street Finest never looked back. Great play by everyone in Street Finest. The problem, that defensive line, Colt 45, the problem. Everybody, they say they don't get love on the show. Well, I'm giving you love now because you guys were putting pressure on Smitty all game. And I have to tell you the truth, Empire State was not the same team. They were playing without Brent Wise, okay? Brent, who suffered an injury, had to have surgery on Tuesday and may miss the entire season, the remaining season. He may miss it all, even the playoffs. His status is still up in the air, but Empire State will be out without their playmaker, their best player to me, without Brent for the remaining of the season, and that you could see that it affected them. They weren't the same team that showed that second half resolve against X-Men last week. They took the loss. It was 18-6, Street Finest. They moved to 4-2. Empire State is 3-3. Street Finest, you showed everyone. When you have your whole full team there, with John Austin, when you have JoJo, you have Swiv, you have Kareem, and I cannot not mention the great player of Tyree and Mr. 818, Sammy, who iced the game with one of the ridiculous catches I've ever seen, where Dane Brooke threw the ball, Chubb Chase threw the ball floated in the air, and Sammy, who has ridiculous hops, jumped up and had enough time to, make reservations for a date with his girl, take his cousins trick-or-treating, pay his phone bill, buy movie tickets, already have plans for his taxes next season. He was there for a long time. And then by the time he finally came halfway down, he probably remembered other stuff he needed to do. Oh, I got to do groceries. I got to go hit routes. Because that catch was ridiculous. 40 yards. It was on a 4th down play. Iced the game. Street Finest wins 18-6. Like I said, they're 4-2, moving up in the rankings, showing everyone they're a team to be reckoned with. Empire State, you're 3-3. You're still in the mix, guys. I know you're not a mediocre team. I know you're not a 500 team, Tracy. I expect better from your team, and I assume I'm going to see better from your team. But it was a tough loss. You did not get your revenge. Street Finest showing everyone they're a team to deal with. Game 5, the final game of Week 6, was between 4-1 Skywalkers and 1-4 Mayhem. Now, with Skywalkers, I've never seen a team that can blow up like they can. And before the game, they came up to me and was like, why you always call us combustible? I wish I could have said, give me 1 hour and I'll show you why you're combustible. Because in a game where they were definitely the favorite against Mayhem, and they did not play bad, they didn't play great, but they didn't play bad, Skywalkers might have been, sleepwalking a little bit. But I got to give Hannibal another MVP candidate, for that, especially in the first half of the season, as he led his team to a 4-1 record. Got to give Hannibal credit. Hannibal has done a great job of really being a captain this season. No fighting, with Druzy like he did last season? All the bickering. If you got something to say, hey, go to the sideline. We'll talk about it later. Hey, you might even talk to his girlfriend. He allows that so that it can be told to him later on. Doesn't matter. The bickering, they stopped that. And that's what led them to a 4-1 record. Mayhem is a gutsy little team. Got to give Mayhem credit, okay? They've played exciting games. We really look at their record. They're 1-4, but those last 4 games have been one-possession games. One-possession games where they've lost in the last second, either on a kickoff return or a late game-winning touchdown. But got to give those guys credit. Mayhem is a tough out. If you don't come with that, if you don't come with your game, you don't come with your focus, they're liable to upset you. But Skywalkers didn't allow that to happen. As Hannibal was finding everyone, found his boy T-Lou, was running the option very well with Debo, but he was making plays, throwing touchdowns, and it helped Skywalkers to a 19-13 victory. But it wasn't the game that was more exciting. That was exciting. Afterwards, after the game, all right, where Hannibal and Twan, his teammate, got into it when Hannibal wanted to knee the clock and run the game. The game was over. No timeout for Mayhem. Just take a knee. Apparently, Twan wanted another play to be run. Now, my point of view, why would you want to give the other team a chance to intercept the ball, have some crazy, wacky play happen, and they return it, and then all of a sudden now you go from the left side of the win column to now you're on the right side in the loss column, okay? They got into it. Words were being said. Obviously, cooler heads prevail. We'll see what happens next week because that's one thing I got to say about this league, man. There's more backstage politics than an episode of Scandal. Kerry Washington couldn't solve all these problems. You got teams that are making last-minute switches. You got teams asking other people, if this person goes on your team, then I'll join your team. What up, Detroit? So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, all right? There's a lot of craziness going on, but Skywalkers, they won 19-13. Give them credit. They didn't use X much. I got to give my Haitian sensation credit. Sakpase Haitien, you know what I mean? X wasn't really focused much in the game, but in the second half, he made some key plays with an interception and then a nice 50-yard bomb from Hannibal to X that iced the game. T-Lou made some plays, had some drops. Kind of worried about that because I didn't see that before. But their defense played well. Mayhem, got to give Ruiz, number 5, credit, as he was pretty much the only one who was really balling. Him and Dorsey, number 7, the Cam Newton, mini Cam, they were playing their asses out, but at the end they were no match for Skywalkers as they lost. 19-13, Skywalkers 5-1, Mayhem 1-5. Tough breaks, Mayhem, but I gotta say, you're a very resilient team. I love the competition in you guys. You're very, very, actually very well schooled in a lot of things well. Very good tackling team. You run your routes good. Mayhem trying to be that team to maybe get the 8th seed, but if you get the 8th seed, you're either going to figure out you're playing against Outlaws or Skywalkers, and you pretty much lunch meat, chicken soup for the soul. It's not going to be good. But 19-13, Skywalkers over Mayhem. So, with week 6 action all done, I'm going to do the power rankings and a little first half of the season synopsis and recap for all the teams. You go from bottom to top. Number 10, still is a 3-way tie between Reservoir Dogs, Mayhem, and Demolition Crew. Guys, you guys are fighting for the final playoff spot. All 3 teams. All 3 of you are 1-5. Basically, your wins have been against almost each other. Demolition Crew, you added new members. Still going to take time for you to gel. Detroit, you said you got the VIP deal that everybody wanted. You know what I'm saying? You got the VIP deal that you wanted. That's why you joined Demolition Crew. But Baby Hulk, Johnny Flash, Baby Hulk, you played well last week. This week, you did throw a pick 6. Okay? So there's got to be more continuity on the team. Like I said, the defense has played played better over the last 2 weeks. Give you credit for that, Detroit. Maybe your infusion there has definitely helped the defense. Druzy, you've been Mr. Everything on the team. Way to go as a captain. But you guys need to put a combination of wins. You have the talent. You have enough good players to put a little scare on teams. And all you got to do is get in the dance. Mayhem. Mayhem, I like your resolve, man. I like your toughness. I like the way you guys play. You're in every game. I cannot say that you guys have not been in every game, except for the first couple of weeks. For the last 4 weeks, you've been in every game. Some tough heartbreak losses. Those losses you got to turn into wins. That's the only way you're going to get respect. You got to turn those games into wins. It makes no sense to put all that effort if you're not going to get a W. You know, doesn't make sense to do that. Got to find it in your hearts. Got to find it within. Make the plays to get that victory. Reservoir Dogs, I don't know. I mean, that was a beatdown you gave Skywalkers for your only victory. But after that, you've just been manhandled and just destroyed. Holmes, you've been a delight. I'll give you that much, my friend. You're a highlight reel every week. Neil, you've put some great numbers. You've had a good defense, Mr. Red. You've been doing your thing. But double-digit losses are not good. Not good at all. Because nobody's gonna fear you. Everybody's gonna look at you as a welcome mat. Chicken food for the soul. Easy. Gotta figure out a way to get a victory, get that momentum, put confidence, instill confidence in your team. Number 7, X-Men, 2-3-1. Some say that tie might have been lucky. Some say you might have deserved to win that game. Who knows? But no more controversy, no more rumors. This is the team that you have now. You know what you are. This is your squad. Chico, you got Chris, got D-Hill, D-Way, Christian. This is your squad. Are you going to go on that second half run that you've been going on in the last 3 seasons? That's your MO. Struggle in the beginning, get it going at the end, cause a scare on somebody in the postseason. Is that going to happen again? Is this the same script? Is this the same script, Chico? Same script, huh? Is this another Haunted Holiday script that we've all seen before? Huh? Or it's going to be is there some cracks? Is there some flaws in the X-Men crest right now? Are players doubting? Are players not understanding what's going on? Loyalties have been questioned and loyalties have been answered. So let's see. You could put this together, get that momentum, have that motivation to quiet everybody, shut up all the critics, and show why you're a very good team. All right? Number 5, White Shadow. You're tied with Empire State. You're both 3-3. White Shadow, like I said, one of the most efficient teams. When number 2, Evan Uribu, is there in the game, it causes so much problems, matchup problems, because it turns Matt, who goes from tight end to wide receiver, who's a matchup problem himself with his height and his athleticism. People don't expect him to be athletic, but he is, okay? They're a very good team, good quarterback play, all right, with Schultes, good quarterback. They know what to do. They run a great offense, and their defense is not bad. Think White Shadow could be a scare for anybody in the postseason, because if you don't play without your A game, you don't bring their focus. Their focus, and they bring their A game. They might not win every game, but you know they bring the effort, and they're here to work. Empire State now, I don't know what's going on. You guys are struggling. Your offense is not the same. It looks 20 times worse than it did from last season. Your offense was one of the better offensive last year. Smitty, I know you're doing your thing. You've been running a lot. You've not stayed in the pocket as much this season. I don't know if it's the offensive line. What's going on? The defense, as stout as it's been all season, has had some breakdowns, giving up broken coverage touchdowns. They need to shore up everything. You definitely can make a great run in the second half. You've got the talent, you got the skills, and you got the leadership. I expect more from Empire State. I expect to see more from Empire State. What's going on, guys? Let's get it going. Show that you why. You have the right to wear the big blue Wrecking Crews uniform. Empire State, come on, New York. QB, what's up, Tracy? I'm talking to you right now. I'm going at you. You losing Brent? That's horrible. That's a bad, tragic news to hear. But You have the talent. You have the squad. You've been here before. Show them why they should have fear for Empire State. Number 4, the defending champs, the 5-time defending champs, 3-2-1 Terror Squad. You have nobody to blame but yourselves right now. Your defense, championship quality. Courtney, Wayne, Keith, Wolf, you've all played very well, except for that one game against Skywalker. Been unbelievable. But your offense, one of the more prominent offensives in the EFFL, has not been prominent. Tuesday's in and out as quarterback, missed a couple of games. DeAndre hasn't been there. But still, with that talent, that championship medal, I am shocked to see the 3-2-1 record. I maybe was right. Maybe you're long in the tooth. You got a little Drakey about it. Got all in your feelings, like everybody else do in this league. They get all in their feelings. That's why everybody gets the Drake Award, because they're all in their feelings. But nobody's been in more in their feelings than the Terror Squad. Look, folks, you're the 5-time champions. Till somebody beats you, you're still the prohibitive favorite. But the way you're playing right now, there's reasons why teams have the confidence that they can bring your reign to an end. Show them that that reign is not over. Now, number 3, Street Finest. Great win over Empire State. When your team is together, when you have everybody there, your talent is right up there with everyone. Show them why you're ready to take that next step. Show them why that you're the team that everybody has to reckon with, everybody has to fear. Great play by everyone, especially Brian. You've shown now that you're somebody that they have to deal with. Ain't no more dropping balls. When you get that ball, you get racks. All right, you get yaks. I'm sorry, you get yards after the catch, and you've been doing a great job these last 4 weeks. Street Finest, you're 4-2. Let's see how the second half of the season is for you. Number 2 and number 1 hasn't changed. Skywalker is the second best team in the league. They're 5-1, but they're combustible. At any given moment, they can explode. They're like a Molotov vodka right now. All right, just throw fire on them. They'll start burning. Great talent. You have a quarterback, MVP caliber quarterback. You have great wide receivers. Just stop the infighting. Win the game, move on, go on to the next one. But nobody's doing that like Outlaws. The number 1 team, 6-0. Right now, first half of the season MVP, Ronald Jean. You got Marquise Powell, who's been tremendous. Their quarterback, D. Ward, check, who's been playing phenomenal. Another most improved player candidate. That defense, top notch. Like you said, Ronnie, one game at a time, one step at a time. The 12-step program. It's all you guys are thinking about. Just continue this right now, because right now you're the team that everybody's gunning for. All eyes are on you. You and Terror Squad are the 2 teams they're gunning for. Skywalker's just laying in the weeds at the 2 seed, having nobody want to talk about them, but they're talking about themselves because they're fighting with each other. But that's the first half of the season, folks. Can't wait for the second half of the season, which starts this Saturday, week 7. Great matchups going. The marquee one is X-Men versus Outlaws. Can X-Men finally be the one to stop Outlaws' perfect season so far? Find out this and more on next week's EFF Zone.